morning, students. I'm Mrs. Paramita Das, and I'll be teaching you home science in class 11 science. Those of you who have opted for it in lieu of mathematics. So, to begin with, what is this subject, home science? Now, most of us have this concept that when we say home science, it is a subject which is mainly meant to study or learn household work and is meant only for girls. But that's a wrong notion. The reality is that this subject, home science, teaches us about people, how to manage a home, family members, and most important, resources. Maybe monetary resources, safety resources, and different forms of resources in a family. So this subject is a vast subject having bits of many other subjects which have been compiled together. Like, for example, here if you look at the broader concept, it will include skills in cooking, laundry, decoration of the house, stitching. Then it's actually a vocational course where we also learn about self-employment or ways of how you can seek an employment for yourself at home. So a homemaker can be at home and still earn a living. That's home science. So you learn about spinning, weaving, cooking, and many other patterns of life in this subject. It also teaches us how to reduce the number of working hours by following a proper method of functioning or doing a work properly. So, for example, we find patterns of living today have undergone huge changes, maybe in the agricultural sector, maybe in the industry, maybe at home, and for all this we find that we have to cut down the hours that we do a particular job and not waste time. That is something we study in home science. How to reduce the working hours while doing a particular job. Hence it is meant both for girls and boys and is not a subject which is meant exclusively for girls. So in this subject, it has got a lot of scope because it's a very promising subject, because you can take up a career in teaching, nursing, dietitian in a hospital or in any other center, research work, welfare work, management, then communication. It also teaches us communication, how to be a good communicator. So in this study of home science, we not only study about just simple home, it gives us a full education of home living. With this subject, we are able to learn not only about things to be done at home, but we can specialize in clothing, in the textile industry, in the food and nutrition in industry, human resource development. It has a huge scope in human resource development, extensive education in different fields. So all this put together, we find that it helps an individual to become economically independent, which is a must in today's world. So girls and boys, home science, which is being taught in lieu of maths in your science section of our school, will help you definitely to generate a form of employment in different fields, and has got different career opportunities. So what we find is that it is a place which will bring about development for both girls and boys, as it will give them equal opportunities. It brings about personal and professional development, not only personal at home, but also professional development. Then we find that it has today become a very significant subject because we face a lot of social pressures. So a bit of psychology is also taught in this subject as how to handle the adolescents and especially the group which faces the maximum social, what you call, pressure at home and outside. The peer pressure, as we all know. So what we find is that it is a subject which will not only assist your family members, but it will be of big help to the community and to the external world. So we find growing pressures are there in today's work environment, and the family assumes a significant role in shaping the citizens of tomorrow. That is what we study in this subject, home science. So here we find that through home science, we find that we can shape the lives of children in different spheres. That is, it provides a scientific knowledge as how to manage your life at home through good health, a strong psychology so that you don't, what you call, get into depression, etc. It teaches us managerial skills as how to manage the resources at home and how to lead a good day-to-day life and maintain the household. So hence it is a knowledge, skill that has helped us to create a healthy, happy and enriched family. With the services and facilities available, we will learn through this subject as how to be a good homemaker, which I think both boys and girls must know. Then it uses the modern technologies to maintain and manage the life and the education at home and outside in the world. Then another factor is also studied here, the economic factor. It teaches us a bit of banking and how to utilize our savings and where to save in the correct manner. So in this context, managing and balancing of both household and professional life is taught through this subject. Then another feature is our daily family life. That is how to go about bringing up children in a good psychological environment so that they may be strong enough to face problems in their life when they go out into this world. And at the same time, the problems of the elderly are also taken into account when we go through this subject. As we know today, families are facing a huge amount of problems. Reason behind this is that most of us live in nuclear families. And when there is a nuclear family and very few people to talk to, then in that case psychological problems arise. And to get over this, what we find is we have to have a good psychological knowledge as how to handle the different members of the family and stop them from getting into any form of crime, especially the adolescents. So it teaches us adolescent behavior or how to tackle an adolescent. Then next comes every homemaker must have a good knowledge about menu planning, and which is one of the key factors in bringing happiness to a home. It provides us a wholesome knowledge as to how to look after the health of the family members, that is the children, the elders, as each one has to be taken care of in a different manner. That is, the food that they eat is different for a child, while it is different for an elderly member. So this has to be taken care of through menu planning or meal planning, which we teach in this subject, home science. So we teach how to look after the nutrition, how to take care, first aid of an elderly person at home, or minor health problems that may arise in a family. So these are little things which will help us to build a strong human relationship among family members in the family. Then it teaches us about family life education. That is, how to teach right values, appreciation, and understand each family member through the function of parenthood, responsibility of family membership, management of one's resources, very, very important. Resources not only means money, but other resources that you have to do. It may be space, it may be food, or some other thing that another form of resource, which has to be carefully balanced according to the demands of, and here we need to make important decisions. So these are different things or different concepts that we study in home science. Of course, there are certain objectives of this subject. One being to foster the growth, development, and well-being of individuals, families, and communities in utilizing the findings and advances of science and technology. So this subject will teach us how we can bring about the correct growth pattern in a growing child, develop him or her strongly, both mentally and physically, how to bring together the family's members, how to adjust in a community, and how to fulfill and understand the changes taking place in science and technology. So overall, it teaches us how to bring about family happiness in a scientific manner. It helps us to understand about food. Food doesn't mean just eating, the correct nutrition. Food which will give us the correct nutrition. Technology of preserving food. Because at times when certain crops and certain vegetables are produced too much during the harvest season, they have to be stored or preserved to be used later on. And that is what we teach in home science. Preservation of food in the form of jam, jellies, pickles, how to store crops. Then it teaches us household management. Textile and clothing. It gives us a very good insight into this topic, textiles and clothing. Then it teaches us how to look after the health, first aid, and how to do home nursing, which is very important if you have small children and aged people at home. The overall child development and mothercraft is also taught in this subject. Human relationships are very well focused when we study home science. Hence, it helps us to solve many personal problems and make adjustments in the family. It prepares us for careers in the outside world and helps us to know how to utilize modern science in home living in the best possible way. Research in information and knowledge is another goal of home science. It helps to use time and energy to make life more worthwhile. So, we are able to appreciate values, attitudes, the correct attitudes, facts and formation of appropriate habits through the study of home science. You will definitely enjoy this subject as we move along. So, hoping to meet you all soon. Thank you.